I had a blast watching this movie. I'm sure it had to have been a blast to make. Can you just talk a little bit about being on set with such an incredible ensemble cast with like such a wild script to play with too, I think.
Yeah, I was just fanning out on the cast of just being there on set. I'm like, wow, I'm really at this table. I mean, I grew up watching, I idolized Parker Posey and grew up watching Lisa and Edie and all those guys, you know. So it was really funny to think that we're like family. So in a weird way, I really related to this idea of belonging and wanting to belong to a family that maybe
Mm.
you're not quite invited, but you invite yourself to the party anyways. I mean, I didn't
It's a
invite
great party to
myself, but
be
I
at,
feel like, like
right?
Sarah.
The filmmakers invited you there. You deserve to be there.
Exactly. I did belong.
But I guess who maybe surprised you the most when you are doing something like this, where it is so out there but so fun,
Everyone's so fun. I watched Dean Norris do Breaking Bad, but I didn't realize how funny he was. Like, he's
right?
funny. And, I just never experienced him that way before. So, but really, like, the entire cast, they're so pros, just they're in the moment and kind of like, they'll say something a certain way. And, while the script was so funny on the page, I didn't always hear it that way until I saw them do it. And then
Mm.
it's like, it's always that the humans, right, that add that special like extra something. And you were like, oh,
Hmm.
that's so much funnier. Yeah.
And obviously Brian Cox is kind of known for his gruff persona, especially after Succession. And some of the stuff we see him do in this movie is just completely insane. I'm shocked everyone got him to do it. Just what was it like to see him kind of doing these crazy curveballs the movie really throws at him?
You're just like, you will never see Brian Cox this way.
Yeah.
It's both terrifying and hilarious at the same time. Like,
Yes.
really just terrifying, but also just, he's so good, like just terrifying and funny though, because I think he's not afraid to poke fun at himself, or just even kind of understand this character and this kind of, not that he's a bully, but the
Yeah.
demon or whoever that he embodies, is just like he's so aware that he really grounds him in this way that you're just like, oh my God, this dad has turned into this like hate.
Yes. And obviously this movie is all about this couple that their parents are meeting each other and their respective partners
Terrifying,
for the first time, which is, yes, a scary
horrifying.
experience I think we've all gone through. I'm curious if you have any meet the parent horror stories you're
Yes, I
willing to
do.
share.
I do. I do.
We
I
all
want to
have them.
say, yeah, we all like, I don't know. I always thought I was really good with parents, and that was kind of my MO. I'm like, oh, parents love me. So I thought, oh, parents love me, and this one's gonna love me too. And my gosh, yeah, it was
Hmm.
really, it's very horrifying and terrifying when you meet someone who doesn't. You're just like, wait, I'm used to being adored. Why
And then you try so hard and it just makes it worse.
Oh my God, the more you try, yeah. And then you're like not even yourself, So you're like you don't even know how to navigate, which like I think this film does such a good job of kind of capturing that kind of horror in a funny way because it's so true and we've all been there. Like you said, you're like, yes, I know that girl or I
Hmm.
know that woman or I know that dad. You're like, I know, and it's like that dynamic. It's so true and relatable. I mean, human relations and family. I mean, we've all had to navigate family and especially family members we don't agree with, It's like,
Hmm.
it's another level of
Oh
like
yeah.
horror.
And lastly, I know this is, a horror comedy, but I'm curious what some of your favorite horror films are. Are there ones you revisit if you're even a fan of them, I guess, in the first place?
I'm a huge fan of horrors. I think to do a horror comedy like The Parenting Can, it's a specific tone that's really hard
Yeah.
to nail because you're like, how can you be both funny and heart, like terrified at the same time? Because I was genuinely scared, but also like laughing. So I don't know that kind of mixed genre, let's say, but I do love like horror films as in general, like Possession,
Okay.
Suspiria. I love Poltergeist, Exorcist, all those that like go crazy. But then also like campy ones like
You
Scream and
like your
Halloween
ghosties.
and